I was going to second what Senator Olekina said on this basis. Upon unsatisfactory provision of a letter, he must face the law, the Powers and Privileges Act, Section 19. And I want to assure you, Chair, the committee of CPAC that I chair, we've applied this particular core act to penalize 2 or 3 errant governors who have failed to turn up. And the second round, they've had to come under summons and under escort by police. And instead, because of they fear the escort of police, they have voluntarily brought themselves to the committee and even given us an advance date when they should be seen, which meets the requirements of the law. And I feel very strongly this is an issue we cannot soft pedal. This is an issue we must pronounce ourselves. It is involving life. And I'm now talking as a professional doctor. It's involving life, the survival of people under COVID emergency. And we need speedy answers. And I was going to suggest that those summons should be done within a reasonable period of time, and not prolonged period of time. And reasonable period of time, I mean within a week.
Chair, would I suggest that we have a proposal at a second on this matter?
Chair, before.
So,
Wait.
I want to propose that this witness must be penalized under our standing orders.
And Chair.
And because of that, we're going to need a seconder because, Chair, if you look Kenya today, we just lost, a doctor because of this mismanagement of this COVID fund. Somebody who has a future. We lost a nurse. We have lost so many lives. Some people are smiling. That's why we must penalize this witness who did not appear here. No, we need a seconder.
Next. Chair, I second on that. Action should be taken. And Chair, I suggest this is a big scandal, a big something which nobody can explain. It is a high time we summon the board. Not alone the board, we have to summon even the suppliers, the companies. We need to know how they were given those tenders. Chairman, this is a high time you should give the way forward on how, as we are waiting for the CEO and the team to come back, come next week, we must meet the board, the suppliers, all the companies, all the people who are involved. This is the public money. This is not a family affair. It is not individuals' affair.
All right, thank you so
much. And I second that.
Thank you, Senators. I think you have all had the weight of this issue from the Senators, and I want to agree with them. In fact, our first interaction with KEMSA was on 7th May 2020 in the ad hoc committee on COVID. And we met that time with the CEO himself. He was present, the Director of Procurement, you were present there in that meeting, and the Director of Commercial Services, you were present in that meeting. And in that meeting is where we started highlighting some of the malpractices that now have come to the light and to the fore, and the depth of which we will definitely get to the bottom of, as you've heard from the Senators. We will get to the bottom of it, and we don't want to be cowed. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we do not have evidence that the CEO is unwell. We've only heard from you, and there's a letter which we cannot verify. I actually have not seen that letter myself. So that letter has not been tabled here. So he is not unwell. He has not attended to the summons that he was given. That is the direction I can say we can now make the next move from. And I do agree with Senator Kwamboka that we must meet with the board as well, because at the ad hoc committee, we didn't get a chance to meet with the board. So I think now is a good chance also to meet with the board. So my co-chair, I'm in agreement that we need to issue summons, and as well, we should give the penalty unless he can provide evidence here that today he's unwell, and it is evidence that is admissible here, then the summons should be given together with the penalties that go with it. This issue is of public interest. A lot of names have been mentioned, and we want to see the truth. Kenyans must see the truth. Our doctors are dying. Kenyans are dying, and we must get to the bottom of this. Thank you.
Thank you. But now you can notice, KEMSA, this is a very weighty matter from the comments of the senators and the public at large. This matter is a very, very serious matter. It's a matter that is affecting millions of people. On top of what my colleagues have said, the donors are even threatening to take away money. I'm told 400 billion is at stake because of an issue caused by one man who has failed to appear here today. That is the main person you want to ask this thing. Why are we going to lose 400 billion shillings in donor aid? Because of his mismanagement. So those are the issues we are faced with. And the unfortunate part is that up to now, he has not given us a satisfactory excuse why he's away. Yeah. So before I rule on the way forward, maybe let me give the senators just a minute each to give the closing remarks. Then we rule on the way forward.
Chair, I really want to thank you for your ruling. And Chair, I'm looking forward to see the board by next week to tell us or tell Kenyans where is the money. Why is it that we do not have the necessity to protect the citizens of this Republic of Kenya? Chair, I also look forward that next week, this witness who was supposed to appear before us, who has a lot of impunity, must be brought before this committee and to tell Kenyans, why are we losing our doctors and nurses? And I look forward next week, Chair, this is an urgent matter, to see all those companies who have looted the taxpayers. They are smiling to the bank, yet Kenyans are dying. This truth, we must go to the bottom of it. And we must send, and we want to invite the president to stand with us, so that impunity of looting taxpayers must come to an end. Why should some Kenyans enjoy money and sacrifice the poor? What will they use money for, even if they own the whole world that the Bible says, and they lose their soul? And yet, the money was already been given to them under their custody. Chair, like I said before, if you go to Kisumu today, note the doctor are on strike because they cannot be provided with the PPEs to protect themselves. They do not have what it takes so that even the people who are could have got the COVID-19 to be admitted under their care, they are afraid. That's why all these doctors are on the strike. And it's not only in Kisumu, it is all over the nation. And therefore, this matter is serious. And if somebody wants to just come here and hire high-profile lawyers, I keep on saying this again and again, so that they can loot and run away with it. That's not going to happen this time.
Chair. Chair, thank you. I want to agree fully with my colleagues, with members who have spoken, which I'm not going to labor to speak to go through the whole narrative because it's quite clear. I just want to add here that if for any reason then the CEO unwell, I think we should still demand a letter from the doctor, not just CEO, but the doctor also who is treating him, to be sent to the clerk of Senate, because this was a formal invitation. It was not just something that can be dealt with casually, which is what has happened this morning. And maybe instead of laboring on and on, because I know all these senators have also many other meetings, maybe we could agree that with what has been said, and said fresh summons, depending on the lawyers, what they think, our lawyers, but give it timelines, not to leave it completely open, and then we are going on and on with this issue. On the money lost, it's really a very serious matter. Global Fund funds a lot of our health, not just COVID, malaria, TB, HIV, we get a lot of funds from Global Fund. It happened again around 2009 or 2008 when they withdrew the whole support. And we had to labor very hard to really get back Global Fund. And when they came back, they even doubled what they give. So it's very important that we come clear as a country on this issue so that we do not lose support, very valuable support of our development partners who support health very strongly in our country. It's really a pity that this is what has happened. As they say, the guilty are afraid. So if CEO is not guilty, he should have just avail himself instead of going through all the drama. And if he's really unwell, we wish him well.
Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, I want to add something.
Sorry.
Let's just finish with the okay.
Are you cutting me, Chair?
A quick one, Senator Langat.
Yes, I wanted to say that our committee on COVID is limited with time. We are not a standing committee, and I think our time is getting limited every now and then. And therefore, if we entertain these particular people who want to be missing our meetings, avoiding them technically, without providing proper evidence to show surely that they are sick and they are in hospital, then we should take this matter seriously. Time is of essence, particularly in our committee, and this is a serious matter. So I'm saying that we should be specific in letting that particular person to appear before this committee because of time. So I support Senator Mugo on matters to do with becoming very strict on time so that we finish whatever we are doing as an ad hoc committee and write a report that will assist our government. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Senator.
Thank you, Chair. Senator is my name. Just entered late, but I was still on Zoom. Chair, I just want to concur with my colleagues. This is a matter of public concern, Chair. And Chair, KEMSA is a government institution. They know our procedures. If the CEO became sick yesterday, he could have asked his lawyer to write a letter procedurally to the Speaker and the office of the clerk, and could have given KEMSA, possibly the officers who are here, to present themselves before him with the lawyers, with a letter on time. Chair, I think this is just a matter of buying time, and this is an issue that concerns the whole country and the international communities, and we are not going to buy time to cover up an issue that has costed lives. Today, our frontliners staff are afraid of even attending the sick people. Even the normal sick people who are just suffering from other ailments, they are being returned back without being treated because our staff feel unprotected. So, Chair, I think if we have to postpone this meeting, it has to come back as early as possible because we have a time frame on when to report this matter.
Thank you. Any other short comment?
Chair.
Senator Kwamboka.
Chair, my final remarks, I want to thank the officers who have turned up today. And if indeed the CEO is sick, I wish him quick recovery. And to the public, let them know that there are some allegations that the MPs, senators are in this matter. If indeed anyone who is involved in this matter, they will carry their own cross. We are going to do justice to these public funds. Nobody is special. This Committee of Health is capable to do its mandate. And we assure the Kenyans we are with you and we are going to stand with the public funds.
Chair, and finally, I just wanted to say that the anti-corruption intelligence bodies have all the evidence that is needed by this House. And one of the things this House must do, we're not just answerable we're not just answerable to Parliament. We've been told by these bodies that they need a report from Parliament that should be made public, and they have actually listed, Procurement Review Authority, Auditor General's Office, audited accounts reports of KEMSA itself, suppliers' financial statement. We've been asked, actually. And so we don't have the luxury of deciding. It's not just something that we ourselves are now becoming, on trial. So we must be above board and we must ensure this. Mr. Chairman, I worked with the Global Fund, for some time on HIV programs. And if they pull out 85% of the programming for Kenya from HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria are from the Global Fund. This is going to go beyond COVID to all other diseases, and I cannot imagine what will happen. And we've seen they work through principal recipients and then sub-recipients. In fact, they have decided to get rid of some of the principal recipients that are very straightforward, so that they can then put principal recipients that may be compliant to some of this misuse. So we are watching, and I think, Mr. Chairman, as Health Committee, you should also go and check what's happening with other programs with our partners, especially the Global Fund docket.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Adam.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this is a very weighty matter, and I just want to assure the public that we are going to do things different this time around. Even if it involves piercing the corporate veil, so be it. Because we know there are some individuals who open companies so that they can be able to hide their identity. Mr. Chairman, I want to suggest as follows. As a committee, we are also going to invite KRA to come here, because any company doing business is subjected to VAT and 30% corporate tax. That is issue number one. Mr. Chairman, we're also going, I'm going to suggest that we invite the registrar of companies. We are going to lift this veil and to see who are these individuals who are making Kenyans suffer. The billions that are now being threatened to be withdrawn is money that supports poor people. Yet a few individuals line their pockets, and all they care about is their 10 million shilling cars, their 1 billion shilling houses. This has got to come to an end. Mr. Chairman, as a member of this committee, we are going to do everything possible. And I'm going to use my investigatory experiences, skills, to ensure that we follow these people. We follow the money, where the money came from. Those who supplied air, they will have to chew that air. We will follow
If they say they purchase things from China, we will go to China until we're able to identify where these things were going. So, Mr. Chairman, this is a very serious matter, and I would suggest that the Secretariat start thinking about looking at the evidence that we have been submitted to us. We start lifting, or we pierce this corporate veil. We want to know which companies these are. We need to look at the procurement procedures. Even USAID, Mr. Chairman, I would also suggest that we invite them, because whenever they give money, and the Global Fund, when they give money, there are certain prerequisites in terms of consideration of the tenders to be awarded. This is a country of 47 million people. This is a country of young entrepreneurs, where even the law sets aside 30% to be given to the youth. But those youth are not getting anything because a few blood millionaires are taking everything. So I want to assure the public, and Mr. Chairman, this is going to be done differently. They will never repeat again. As long as I sit in this committee, I promise you, Mr. Chairman, I will do everything it takes. We sit with my senior here, Professor Ongeri, Habishiro, Halaki, Komboka, and Senator Outa, and I'm happy that the COVID committee has joined us, and as well as all the members who are on Zoom, we will do this thing differently this time around. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rita.
Let me just add to what Senator Olekina is saying. We promised in the ad hoc committee, we promised Kenyans that we'll get to the bottom of the COVID funds. We have even gone as far as writing to the counties, to the Auditor General, to give a full audit and a comprehensive audit to the counties. We shall get to the bottom of this issue. That one I can guarantee you. And just so that I can quell the fears of Senator Dr. Langat, our mandate can be expanded to the point where we have finalized our work, and as we have promised Kenyans, our reports will come full circle, and we'll file them, and we will do our duty as legislators and as representatives of Kenyans. So that one, have no fear. We are up for the duty and for the task.
Thank you.
Chair.
Sir.
Chair, Senator Manga here, Chair.
Okay, a quick one. Closing remarks, please.
Just a quick one. I wanted to add on maybe both Senator Kasanga and what Olekina said. Apart from just the normal audit from the Office of the Auditor General, we needed, if we can get a forensic audit, can we maybe request for a forensic audit, Chair?
Thank you. I think we've already done that.
Chair.
Okay.
I remember with nostalgia, 1999 and 2000, I was in New York negotiating the Global Fund for this country. I was then the Minister for Health. And I remember vividly, we had 7 kilos of documents before the United Nations when we were negotiating. And somebody had the audacity to stand up within 15 minutes saying that Kenya had not submitted sufficient evidence to guarantee them to get the Global Fund. And I stood up and challenged that decision, that there is nowhere, anywhere in the world, somebody can peruse through 7 kilos of documents within 15 minutes and come with a verdict. And I was supported by the Secretary of Health of the United States of America, and it was the first time that the Global Fund was released to Kenya. We were put on the program. And that, of course, went for malaria and tuberculosis. Somebody to just think it's just a gift is dreaming. It took a lot of effort and energy to persuade the partners to come on board. And therefore, when I came here, Chair, I came with an open mind, with the benefit of doubt. But seeing the chronology of events as they are developing today, I think there is collusion of the highest order. And it's upon this committee now, and we will have enough experience. We have enough experience, enough members in this committee who have enough knowledge to unravel the so-called mystery with all the institutions in hand. Therefore, in your ruling, Chair, we want a very firm ruling that we intend to unravel this monster. First, with the procedural matters as you rule. On procedure, he has failed to turn up to this committee by summons. And therefore, the necessary legal sanctions must be applied. Secondly, as you rule, Chair, that it will be by summons, besides providing evidence that indeed he has been sick. If that evidence is unsatisfactory, then further sanctions will be applied for lying to this committee that he is sick. And finally, when you rule, Mr. Chair, you rule that this meeting must be done within 1 week. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. I think
Chair, maybe before you, just to add on what Senator Ongeri has said about Global Fund,
yes.
And I'm very passionate about Global Fund. To follow what the problems of Global Fund, it's not a joke when they say they will cut the money, even after all that. Because when I was Minister for Public Health, I sat in the Global Fund board representing Eastern and Southern Africa. And I know Global Fund stopped many countries from accessing those funds. Even Kenya, before I went into that board, we had been stopped because of a similar situation. And it took the Treasury PS, myself, and PSs from the Ministry then of Health to go to Geneva to really discuss this issue. And it was restored. That's how we got it back after a lot of hard work. And the money was even doubled. So we really have to do all that it takes. They give a lot of money in the health sector, Global Fund and Malaria Board. So this effort, as it has been explained here, I think, Chair, if it's acceptable, we should let, or the clerk or the speaker, let the Global Fund, the seriousness that the Senate or Parliament has taken this issue, and we are getting into the bottom of it, and just to appeal to them that not to go ahead with those saying they could stop the funds, but to give time, a chance for us to deal with this matter, and to assure them it will not be repeated.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I think, KEMSA, you've heard from the members here that this is not a matter we are taking lightly. This is a matter that will go to any length to come to the bottom of. This is a matter that this committee, the two committees, take very serious. Yeah. The letters, let me just inform members that these letters we're talking about to ESCC, of Auditor General, KRA, to the development partner, the letters have already gone out. We mean business as a committee, and we are very, very disappointed that the CEO is not here today, because this is the man who oversaw all this rot in KEMSA. This is the guy we really wanted to address. So it's unfortunate. If it's true that he's not feeling well, it's unfortunate. But let me rule. Let me be lenient with him for the next 2 hours, 3 hours. That we must get a letter signed by the CEO of the hospital, addressed to the clerk. Yeah, addressed to the clerk by 2 p.m. because we'll want to reconvene in the afternoon and discuss sanctions if we don't get that letter by 2 p.m. Yeah. And these sanctions are very, very serious matters. We're not joking about this matter. So we want a letter addressed to the clerk of the Senate, signed by the CEO of Kenyatta National Hospital by 2 p.m. today, so that we will go through it and see whether it is a genuine situation that this man is actually sick, or is just trying to avoid the committee. And our committee, our secretariat will be sending out letters that we meet the board of KEMSA next week. We'll again give the date. We'll sit down and agree on an appropriate date, but we definitely have to see the board of KEMSA next week, because there are reports that even in this procurement, the board was basically doing parallel. The board was actually doing even parallel procurement. So we really want to talk to the board also, and we'll also engage with you in the presence of the CEO. Next week, we'll give you the date, the new date. Yeah. So for now, it is unanimous that this meeting cannot proceed. The person we need to interrogate is Dr. Jonah Manjari, and he's not present here today. We want him to be here for us to proceed with this meeting. That is something that you heard from my colleagues, and it's unanimous. So we'll want to adjourn this meeting to next week. We'll give you a date, and I hope we'll all be in-house so that we come to the bottom of this matter. So that the embarrassment that we are facing as Kenyans, we cannot manage funds. You know, we cannot manage a pandemic. People are getting rich. You know, so those are the issues we want to talk about, and we must finish as soon as possible. We don't have the luxury of time here. By next week, we will start the engagement. We'll be getting back the communication from these other people we've written to, and we want to get to the bottom. And whoever will be involved will have to be answerable. Yeah. We'll also be engaging with the people who have the suppliers and the KRA. So all that we'll be having a very busy 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks will be very busy for us. So let's adjourn this meeting, and we'll have you here next week. Yeah, and your board also will give a date for your board to come here next week. You have a comment, acting CEO?
Yep. Chair, thank you. As KEMSA, we promise to abide by the resolutions and instructions that come from this committee, and I can reassure you, we have nothing to hide.
Thank you very much, Secretary CEO. So let's adjourn. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.